yes, RRR is a Telugu film made in South India by predominantly South Indian technicians. But at the end of the day,
Hi, this is Sumeet Vyas.
Hi, I'm Mita, Vashisht.
hi, this is Regina Cassandra. And please subscribe to Siddharth Kannan's YouTube channel now.
जाबाज हिंदुस्तान के 3 जाबाज सिपाही मेरे साथ, काम में जाबाज, रहने के स्टाइल में जाबाज। रेजिना के तालियां प्लीज, कम ऑन, लेट्स डू दिस। मीता वशिष्ठ जो रिवर्स गियर में है, एंड ऑफ कोर्स द मैन जो Z5 के फेवरेट है। इनफैक्ट Z5 का लोगो चेंज होके सुमित व्यास का फेस बनने वाला है। लव यू ब्रदर, कैसा लग रहा है अपने दोस्तों को अपने प्लेटफॉर्म में बुलाकर?
बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है।
हाँ
जी,
मैंने सुना कि तुम दामाद हो Z5 के।
अरे नहीं, ये अच्छा इत्तेफाक है कि कई सारा काम जो मैंने किया वो सब Z5 पे आ रहा है, और मेरा तो हमेशा से अच्छा रिश्ता रहा है।
मैंने वही कहा ना भाई, इट्स लाइक अ लव अफेयर, व्हिच इज ब्रिलियंट। एंजॉय द लव अफेयर।
आई एम लविंग इट।
प्लेटफॉर्म्स के साथ भी लव अफेयर हो सकता है कि नहीं भाई?
हाँ,
एब्सोल्युटली। तो मैंने सुना, मीता भी कह रही थी, तुम और रेजिना कल रात को बात कर रहे थे, वी शुड वेयर द सेम कलर्स एंड कम। तो हमेशा तुम लोग यही करते रहते हो रेजिना, कि एक्टिंग भी करते हो?
सब कुछ करते हैं सिद्धार्थ।
इसमें fearlessness की बात कही गई है, राइट? fearlessness. What has been the most fearless phase आपके लाइफ में?
Fearless phase. There have been quite a few fearful phases, and coming out of those fearful phases is probably, and I've had many. It's not just one or two. There have been quite a few, but coming out of it has been the most fearless phase. You know, like once you're out of something, like even be it physical or mental also. I think that has been the most fearless phase.
So if that's great, that means what was that one fearful phase that made you fearless, so that inspires people who are watching us right now? वो क्या था?
I don't know about inspire Siddharth, because that's not the point of everything. But I did around 2016. I did slip into a depressive state. And I wouldn't say depression, because I don't like using the word very loosely, but I had apathy, and I had a lot of symptoms that I would, since I studied psychology, I did my bachelor's, I understood what I was going through. And there was a point where I felt like I don't want to be a part of the film industry. It was quite a phase, because I didn't know what my plan B was, but I just knew I didn't want to be there. And to sit with myself and had to go through it, I didn't go to a therapist, because I knew what was the reason for all of this to start. So I went down deep inside. I mean, there would be days where I would just wake up and start crying, and just be in the house, in my room, in my night clothes, probably the entire day. It was for a brief period, and I knew my hormones were all over the place at that time. So I knew there was a little imbalance in the body. And I sat through the phase. I'm glad that there were filmmakers who did not want me to stop acting. They went out of their way to tell me that, that we would like for you to be a part of this film. Don't do what you're doing. And coming out of that and sitting here today and having to have a conversation many years later is definitely, very fearless. I mean, great feeling, basically. Yeah.
Wow, full respect for that also. But I want to know, आपने अपनी पहली project 2005 में की थी, right? 2004. Wow, that means almost 18 years, right? 18, yeah. To survive 18 years requires someone to be very strong from within as well. जब वो phase की बात कर रही थी, when you said you wanted to quit films, was it because आपको लग रहा था आपको सही projects नहीं आ रहे थे? क्या था?
Wow, are we doing therapy here?
No, I'm asking.
No, and I would love to speak my truth, always.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
It was not just that. It was not just sahi projects nahi aa rahe the. I don't think there's a sahi project unless you get into it and do it. There's no sahi ya galat in terms of a project. Just what works for you and what doesn't work for you. Many people had asked me questions about my career that I didn't know the answers to. as to why I wasn't in a certain place. Questions like why are your contemporaries there and you not there? And to be 21, 22, and to have to like face the world with these questions in front of cameras and, you know that this is going to be your life. And you have to, at that moment, know the right things to say at the right time. I didn't come from a film background. No one in my family is in the industry. So to have to learn by myself. And there was, one thing that I really missed out on was to have a mentor in the industry. And for the longest time, I craved it. And to not have it and to have to like figure your own life out was pretty interesting, actually. So to have to handle all of it, it got to me. Burnout happened when I was also at my physical worst. So I think there was a time when it all struck and I couldn't keep my guard up anymore and I just had to break. And you realize that when you break is the most vulnerable stage of your life where you're just now nothing. And it's okay to be in that nothing. I think nothingness is a great place to be because that's where you learn everything. And I'm still learning, obviously, but I now feel like I know what it is there to be in the nothing. And I know that, I wouldn't say survived, but I know that I now understand the nothingness, so I can also do this.
Wow. I truly believe that makes you a Jaanbaaz, like I said in the beginning as well, to come out, talk about it. And it's beautiful when you say, sometimes when you just do nothing as well, it's okay to be blank at times, right? I feel too.
Blank is meditation, Siddharth, so I guess you're right.
It is, yeah. No, I feel a lot of people say, when they're sitting alone in a restaurant with a coffee, they feel, oh my God. After some time, they'll start picking up the phone, they'll start doing 20 things, they'll make calls just to be busy,
Yeah.
And it's okay to have nothing going for that time being as well, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it helps you introspect also. Sometimes you just get your own answers.
Because there's nothing, so where do you go but yourself?
Wow. Mita,
Yes.
आप भी इतने साल इंडस्ट्री में रही हैं.
33 years.
My God. चल
Actually-
झूठी जैसे आप दिख रही है, लग रहा है कि 10 साल हुए. Hi, 33. Wow.
Actually, more.
Yeah, it's a lot.
From 88 to now would be how many years? I don't know.
And look at this,
wasn't even
33
born,
years
no.
में.
Yeah, you were not. She's not born even then. Yeah, she
You
was
not even
born.
born.
I wasn't even thought of.
ओले ये वो होते ना ओले बेबी मोमेंट आ गया है बट इतने साल रहकर ओटीटी पे आना on a project like this shows your relevancy, yeah? You know, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like when people take your name, हमें भी excitement हो जाती है because you bring so much to the table as a person, as an actress. Fearlessness moments क्या रहे हैं? Yeah, you can even frame it as fearful moments which became fearless moments.
The thing I'm not scared of is getting old and having lines on my face.
I'm
And some time ago,
Wow.
Regina, in the line profession that we're in, there's
exceptional.
so much pressure.
Absolutely.
And I went for a little swimming करती हूँ तो एक थोड़ी सी rash हो गई तो I went to this lady, I won't take her name, but everybody knows who she is. She's in Santa Cruz and she's a terrible doctor.
I knew that was coming when she said, I won't take her name. I was like, no, ma'am, don't finish your sentence.
ये OGs ऐसे होते हैं बाबा.
ना बट वो सैंटा क्रूज में उनका बहुत बड़ा क्लिनिक है, सब जानते हैं. तो मैं जब स्ट्रेस ये रैश के लिए गई तो उन्होंने कहा हाँ ये कुछ फंगल इन्फेक्शन है. उसके बाद उन्होंने एक यंग लड़की भेजी मेरे पास जो 25 साल की थी और बिल्कुल एकदम चकाचक चेहरा. तो उसने कहा मैम नाउ व्हाट अबाउट द लाइंस ऑन योर फेस. सो आई सेड व्हाट अबाउट देम. She says, no, Dr. So-and-so is saying we need to fix these lines on your face. So I said, you mean you're going to do Botox? And she's saying, well, yes. And I said, there's no way you're going to do that. I like my lines. They are my life. And so then this lady for 45 minutes, she was trying to brainwash me. When I finally said no, the doctor herself came in and she says, I can make you look 25 years for the rest of your life. I said, you want to do better than God? You gonna play God? आप भगवान से भी बेहतर है क्या? भगवान ने मुझे जो चेहरा दिया, लाइनें उन्होंने दी हैं. और मैंने कहा मेरी एक्टिंग के लिए बहुत जरूरी. So she got so angry. She told her assistant, oh let her be. इसीलिए उनको ऐसे ऐसे रोल मिलते हैं क्योंकि इतनी लाइनें हैं चेहरे पे. तो मैंने कहा so I started laughing. I said how sad that this person, because I'm not giving her a job of whatever 2, 3, 5 lakhs that she will get by botoxing my face. She is so upset. And I started laughing and I walked out of there laughing and I'm saying, I will never, never, never do Botox. It's okay. My career might last up to a certain point because that is और मे बी द रोल्स वोंट कम बिकॉज से इतनी लाइनें आ गई हैं जो भी है, पर मैं बोटॉक्स तो नहीं करूँगी। ये मुझे लगता है बहुत बड़ी जाबाजियत है, क्योंकि ये सिर्फ जो, और ये मैं इसलिए बता रही हूँ कि बहुत सारी यंग लड़कियाँ हैं जो इंडस्ट्रीज और स्टार्स से बहुत इन्फ्लुएंस होती हैं। मेरी माँ की हेयरड्रेसर का फ़ोन आया, माँ का फ़ोन आया एक बार जब वो चंडीगढ़ में थी, कि मेरी हेयरड्रेसर पूछ रही है, यंग लड़की, कि मुझे अपनी नाक अच्छी नहीं लग रही है, तो आपकी डॉटर एक्ट्रेस हैं तो उनसे पूछिए कहाँ पे प्लास्टिक सर्जरी करवाऊँ। सो आई टोल्ड दैट गर्ल, आई सेड डोंट टच योर फेस, ऐसे तुमको जो कुछ अपने बारे में अच्छा नहीं लगता ना उसको बदल लो, नाक अपने आप ठीक हो जाएगी।
I hope the young boys and girls are listening. Experience से आ रहा है. I'm glad you're saying that. Sumeet, तुम बताओ भाई.
I think, yeah, I think constantly putting myself in risky situations is the most जाबाज thing I've done.
सबसे risky situation.
I think जब भी comfortable हुआ हूँ मैं किसी भी setup में, मैंने वहाँ से खुद को निकाल लिया है, क्योंकि मुझे लगा अगर मैं यहाँ, जैसे for example मैं 2002 से मैंने काम करना शुरू किया, तो तब मैं नाटक ही करता था और बीच बीच में जब काम मिलता था टीवी में तो कर लेता था, उसे इतना सीरियसली नहीं लेता था। आई थिंक 2007-8 के करीब मैंने एक फुल फ्लेजेड डेली सोप जिसे कहते हैं वो किया, 1.5-2 साल। अच्छे पैसे मिल रहे थे उस समय, और आई कम फ्रॉम काफ़ी गरीब हमारा मामला था, पैसे नहीं थे हमारे पास, तो चौल वॉल में रहते थे हम, तो हमारे लिए वो पैसा बहुत था। और फिर मुझे लगा कि यार अगर मैं ये करता रहा तो मुझे आदत पड़ जाएगी इसकी, एक सीरियल के बाद अगर दोबारा एक और कर लिया तो फिर मुझे आदत पड़ जाएगी, मुझे ज़रूरत भी है, और फिर मैं नहीं निकल पाऊंगा इससे, फिर मैं 3 फ्लैट 4 गाड़ी वो उस सब में फंस जाऊंगा। तो मैंने एट द पीक ऑफ इट आई लेफ्ट इट, जब बहुत काम आ रहा था, और फिर मुझे लगा मैं फिल्में करूंगा, क्योंकि उस समय फिल्में ही होती थी और कुछ होता नहीं था। अब फिल्में भी नहीं मिली, फिर नाटक ही करता रहा, उस दौरान ही इंग्लिश और ये सारी फिल्में की थी। फिर 2014 में जाके ये वेब सीरीज का पूरा चक्कर शुरू हुआ। एंड इन लाइफ आई थिंक I don't know, half of it was conscious and half of it was sort of subconscious, that I was very sure that I wanted to live a full life, a life full of, interesting experiences, because it was very, very important for me as an artist that I have enough life to take from, be it in personal life or professional life. You have to experience love, heartbreak, you have to break people's heart, get your heart broken, go
Because
through.
it helps you in reacting in the future. You know how to
Yeah,
handle
and-
situations on your experiences, right?
Yeah, go through financial losses, go through good financial phases. It's all very, very important to experience each and every phase in life and travel, and I have some very weird friends, and I like making friends who are not like people like me, कुछ बड़े बदतमीज हैं, कुछ बड़े चालाक हैं, वैसे हैं, पर मुझे पसंद है। मेरे आसपास के लोग अमूमन बोलते हैं इनके साथ क्यों रहते हो, ये ऐसे लोग हैं वैसे लोग हैं, तो मुझे लगता है यार सादे आदमी के साथ मैं क्या ही बात करूंगा। अब ये देखो, ये आता है, जब भी आता है कुछ अजीब करके जाता है, इससे बहुत कुछ मिलता है मुझे, एंड समटाइम्स मेरा नुकसान भी हुआ है उस चक्कर में, बट आई थिंक दैट्स अ ब्रेव थिंग टू डू, टू नो। Sometimes I want to see कि कितना नुकसान करेगा मेरा। Sometimes
Let's
in a
push the
relationship,
boundaries.
you start figuring out कि यार ये थोड़ा कुछ गड़बड़ कर रहा है। I want to see how far this person will go.
Like Jaanbaaz की
Yeah, I
limit push
really
करो।
know that this person is now, if I may say so, fucking around my life, and I just want to see how far this person will go. क्योंकि कहीं तो वो भी रुकेगा ना। So. And I think it's great, as an artist, it's very important to have these experiences and to be weird. It's good. We're not meant to be good people or just plain people. हम कुछ और कर रहे होते हैं. We are artists. We are supposed to create. We're supposed to be weird. We're supposed to. I take pride in being weird, and there's nothing wrong with it.
Wow. If I may narrate something, okay? So I started in 1994 as a 14-year-old boy. I was the youngest radio host in this country. And obviously, I've been consistent in my work. So during the pandemic, I spent time with myself, March, April, May.
Yes.
And I was getting a premium package from a radio station on a TV show, simultaneous on chat shows. But I said, boss, this is the easiest thing to do. That means I'll keep doing interviews for other platforms. I'll make my money and then, theek hai, the platform becomes big, you make your money. Then Sunday I just woke up and I told my wife, I just want to start my own platform. So she said, karna to kar le. And I actually impulsively just picked up the phone, called up my radio station saying, mujhe nahi karna. They said, but why? I mean, pandemic hai yaar. I said, no. Because I felt somewhere this was the only time I could create my own platform. Then I looked at it, apna platform karna, already existing platforms, you're going to be competing with networks, right? They've got network power, you're an individual. And I said, no, I have enough support from people to help me build my platforms. And I can do the interviews the way I want to.
Yes.
Right.
So I had a stamp of energy. Like right now, it's very easy for me to crack 4 jokes with you right now and crack you up.
But that must have been a time of great trepidation also.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So then, मैंने अपने आप से कहा कि, but I want a part of me had become soulful as well, right? But I would always get calls from people who hired me saying, "अरे तोड़ फोड़ मचा दे भाई," and I was doing exactly that. And at times I didn't want to do तोड़ फोड़.
Yeah.
I didn't want to. I was feeling shit, यार ये तो मैं अपने gallery के लिए play कर रहा हूँ. I'm just doing exactly what I feel.
Yeah.
And I gave up all that. And in 3 years, it's probably become one of the biggest independent platforms this country's ever seen.
Fantastic.
But I'm coming to that point saying that, like he said, कभी तो push कर ले अपने आप को. वरना एक दिन आप नदी के बगल में बैठे हो बोला कि क्या उखाड़ लिया मैंने यार. You know, when you see the waves, you want to see it up and down, and that's the fun of it, right? I wanted to talk to you in 2018. Sonam Kapoor is like family, Anil Kapoor is like family. In fact, Anil got me married to my wife, which is another different story. But I remember Sonam and I did an interview and I said, listen, I want to meet this lady, Regina. She said something she told me at that time, you're not there or whatever. Because when you played an LGBTQ community member in that film, right? 2018 में दो conversation शुरू हो गई थी इसके बारे में, इतना open नहीं था. And it was a brave choice for you and Sonam to do a film like that. उसमें भी जाबाजियत है. जब आपने वो लिया, बहुत सोचना पड़ा, और उसके बाद repercussions क्या थे?
You know, Siddharth, it's funny because the thought that went into playing Kuhu was Shelley first approached me, the director. She called me one day randomly, seeing an audition that I had done sometime over here in 2017. And said, I would like for you to play Kuhu. I've seen your filmography and I think you'll fit the role. I was like, oh, okay. And then she went on to explain it to me, and I was introduced to it as a Sonam Kapoor, Rajkumar Rao film, and you know, this. And again, I'm not from the industry, so I don't pick up calls and ask people, you know, about things and all of that. So I thought about it, and then she came over to Chennai and she narrated the whole thing from a bounded script. Now, for a girl from the South, not from the film industry, to get a call from Bombay is very overwhelming for someone like me. I mean, obviously, it's a very subjective view. So I was always overwhelmed with Bombay and the whole Bollywood aspect of things and the way it was thrown at me. So when this happened, I was pretty taken aback that a director actually took the time off to come to Chennai and read the entire script, go through the entire film from a bounded script with me. Not so many directors down south also are willing to do it with actresses today. So that itself sparked something for me as to why is this person so keen that I play it. And then when I heard the role, it was, that would be the second time I was essaying, you know, a lesbian in a film. I'd played one in a South film that hadn't released. So I sort of felt drawn to it. And I must say, I am an ally of the LGBTQIA community. When I started talking to, like, my agents came on board and to figure things out, everyone asked me, why do you want to do the film? It's going to be a debut Hindi film. Don't play like this part, you know? And I don't know, but and at that moment, I just felt like I needed to do it. So I told everyone, I'm going to go ahead and do it. Cut to, the film finally releases. And suddenly, and I hadn't thought about this at all. I hadn't thought about the LGBTQIA community at all when I was doing it. Just that I was an ally and it's a natural thing for me. I have friends who are gay and lesbians and bi and, you know, all of that. I was growing up with it. But when I saw the response from the community, I was taken aback. I've had girls write books to me. They made sketches. And recently, when I was in the Northeast, I'd just finished shooting in Shillong and Guwahati, and I'd gone to Tura, which is in Meghalaya as well. And my friend has a school there, it's called Sherwood in Tura, and she's the headmistress. So I had gone to see her, and I was staying with them. And two of these girls from the school came up to me randomly. And they happened to be there in the school. They passed out from school, alumni. And they said, hey, you know what? Ek ladki ko dekha to aisa laga was our Gay Awakening film. And I was like, whoa, whoa, that's a lot, right? And I didn't think about it back then. It was not my thought. And then I realized also that film was a great realization for me to understand what an impact my choices are making. And I'm so happy that I played Kuhu the way we played it, and I'm so glad that it came together as a film. However the film did at the box office, at the end of the day, in the longer run, in the bigger picture, I think these are the things that matter.
Yeah, but उस ज़माने में, which is 5 years back, stamp लगते थे, ये action hero. Now we're living in a day and age, you can do whatever you want to.
Yeah.
You see all of you are doing whatever you want and there's no stamp. In fact, actors, stars want to be characters now.
Yeah.
They feel being a character is better than just being this person who's playing a formula. उसके बाद जब ये film किया, were you getting feedback from people saying, अच्छा आपने ये character किया, now how do I give you a typical actress wala role?
Not really, Siddharth, because I think that's the mold I've always tried to break from the beginning. Many molds as an actress that you're put into, one is आपका shelf life सिर्फ 5 years का ही होगा. And back in 2011, when I started, I would hear this all the time and I'd be like, I'm not a packet of milk on a shelf. Like, you can stop,
Yeah, that's one of the ridiculous statements I've heard all my life, especially for women, which is such a shitty line. But yeah.
And imagine being on the receiving end of it for a long time. Now, not too many people talk about it. Now people talk about shit. It's going to be 20 years that you're in the industry. That's the narrative that it has changed to. But again, you change the narrative. So I always wanted to break molds. There is this film called Awe, A-W-E. It's a Telugu film. As an actor, I believe that it's important to not be attached to anything. So I had to do this undercut. So I went and shaved the sides of my hair and the back of my head. It looked like a pineapple. And I had cornrows. And that was my character through the film. So these are the molds I want to break. Like, I could do this and that. I played, and now I play a housewife. I've a middle class housewife. That is the character, but there's so many nuances to it. So I feel like I can keep jumping from character to character and breaking these molds, which is very important. So I haven't met filmmakers who said, now that you're this, and the stereotyping is a part of the industry. People tend to stereotype you, but I think as long as you change the narrative, it's all that matters.
In fact, recently, Rajamouli sir ने कहा था after winning the Golden Globe Award, किसी ने उनसे बोला था शायद कि RRR is a Bollywood film. तो उन्होंने कहा, no, it is a Telugu film from South India.
Yeah, yes, very important.
What do you feel about that?
I think that's a very important distinction to make. I absolutely think that's the kind of distinction that should be made. You have to own your creativity. You have to, because I feel a lot of the films from the South are very deeply rooted in their traditions of performance, in their storytelling, in their myths, which are also somewhere the things that the Hindi film industry had a very good run with. But in the last several years, I'm sorry to say, but our stars are just trying to become like Hollywood actors. They're getting their dress sense from there. They're getting their stories from there. They want to keep remaking Hollywood films into Hindi films. Now, of course, it's even more sad because now you're remaking South Indian films into Hindi films, and you actually end up trying to imitate the South Indian actor. So if you're a North Indian actor, you're behaving like the South Indian one with that very distinctive energy they have, which comes from the pulsating beat of their music. They've never given up tradition. So the best way to be international is to be deeply rooted in your own culture.
In fact, when I was talking to
And that is
Rishabh,
what the South still has always had, and what Hindi film industry unfortunately has just given up over the years.
तो मैंने ऋषभ शेट्टी से पूछा who in the Hindi film industry can play your Kantara role. तो उन्होंने कहा कोई नहीं. Not because of arrogance नहीं था. He said, I have lived this since the time I was born. जो aspects आप देखते हो, I have lived it. So how can an actor just come brief him, अच्छा ये करना है और हो गया, you know?
No.
He's lived it, like you said, roots.
You have to stay with the ethnicities. Years ago, many decades ago, Kurosawa had said for a filmmaker called Hrithik Ghatak from Bengal, that Hrithik Ghatak is the one great international filmmaker India has, truly international filmmaker, because he's so completely Bengali. And this is something we need to respect. The way to be truly international is to be truly rooted in your own traditions.
Absolutely.
Regina, what do you feel about this statement?
I agree with being truly rooted. You know, that's the only way you could stay international, grounded, and speak your truth basically. And only if you speak your truth will you actually look genuine enough to do it. But also, having said that, yes, RRR is a Telugu film made in South India by predominantly South Indian technicians. But at the end of the day, on a global level, it is an Indian film. And I truly believe that it is an Indian film. I'm so happy that, you know, that it is from South India. I'm so happy that South India has got a recognition that it really never had before. But I don't believe that, you know, just because you haven't gotten all of this in for the longest time and you've been fighting for it, doesn't mean that it's just yours at the end of the day. It is ours. And I think cinema is something, we're so fortunate to be a part of this medium, which is so inclusive. You don't want to sit here and divide. You want to include. You want to bring everyone together.
But you know, I just feel, sorry to interrupt, but I feel the way to actually include is to actually recognize the differences and to celebrate those.
Yes.
That's important.
Yeah.
It's important to say that, yes, this is a South Indian film and it's not Bollywood. In fact, Bollywood is a term that came in only in the 90s. Before that, it was a Hindi film industry.
In fact, Bachchan Saab and all hate that terminology.
I think it's a terrible terminology, but I don't know why the Bollywood industry doesn't have the courage to just chuck it into the bin. They'll all say we hate it, but nobody does anything about it, especially the ones who can. Should just say, no, I act in Hindi films. I don't want my films to be referred to as Bollywood. Statement. I mean, if I was that kind of a star, I would change things around. I'd say, no, I am not a Bollywood actress. I'm a Hindi film actress. This is a Hindi film, you know. So we can change it. We just wait for somebody else to do it because we all want to be nice at the end of the day.
Okay, last 30 seconds. Shit ke ka angar, yani fiery questions. Okay, let's do this. Regina, what comes to your mind when I say Kannan Ranaut? Because आपने उनके साथ तलेवी में काम किया है.
Oh, fiery.
How was it working with her?
I didn't get to actually work with her. I just met her for a brief bit, but I predominantly was working with Arvind Swamy.
Mita.
Yeah.
The one director actor जो आपका 4 AM friend है.
4 AM तो मेरे डायरेक्ट ऊपर वाले से बात होती है और किसी से नहीं होती है.
God.
Ekta as a mother or as a wife?
Mother.
How sweet. Oh, you worked with Sridevi in Chandni and you worked with Janvi in Good Luck Jerry. One thing similar दोनों के बारे में.
I think that laugh.
Yeah.
It's a quiet, gentle sort of laugh. That's the thing similar. And yes, I have to say Janvi is an extremely well brought up child. And I think that comes from her mother giving her a very fine professionalism. I really have to say this because I've worked with, you see young actresses around all the time, but the kind of commitment that Janvi brings to, I'm not talking about whether she's as super talented as a mother or not. That's not the question. The question is she's a delightful person who's extremely professional for the fact that she's also a star kid, but there's nothing starry about her in terms of being a co-actor on sets. And I really have a lot of admiration for that child. I would call her a child. She's really a young girl.
In fact, Janvi actually makes fun of her own self about what things people talk about
She
star kids.
is
Or she
so-
makes fun of her own self, self-deprecating humor. She enjoys it also.
She loves it. She's so cute. One day we were doing this scene with Good Luck Jerry, and she had to eat this ice cream, and she wanted Baskin Robbins. It was a Sunday. It was early morning. There was no, I mean, she wanted a particular brand of ice cream. Can't I have that? And we had to do lots of takes of that. So Siddharth scolded her, and he said, Janvi, if you want to be, an actress, this is how you're not going to behave like this. So I said, come on, don't scold her like that. You want to be a star? So I told Siddharth, I said, stop yelling at the poor child and all. She said, सर मैं कहाँ स्टार हूँ मेरी तो 3 फिल्में फ्लॉप हो गई हैं she's so sweet. So I told her at the end of the film, I said, I want to adopt you. Like, you start feeling protective about her. She's saying, yes, Mita ma'am, a lot of people have said that they want to adopt me. So I said, okay.
I feel like that about her too.
Yeah, there's
बहुत
something
protective feel
about
करता हूँ
her.
मैं. बहुत.
There's something very lovable about her.
Last question. Vijay Sethupathi, Ravi Teja, your better friend.
Better friend. Sethu and I are friends. Yeah, so Vijay Sethupathi.
What do you admire about him?
How natural he is as a person and how he translates it on screen as well. I think he's got a fine balance between who he is and what he portrays on screen as well.